Hello everyone, this is Fedra from S28 Europe, and today I would like to talk about some things related to the global version of Dragon Raja, which probably are long overdue and a few people try to gloss over them so far, but I can see that it has not gotten a lot of attention until now, so just adding one more to the pile. I want to talk about the differences that there are between the global version and other versions of the game and how these versions are very much unfair. A difference that I've noticed between our version and other versions, for example the Japanese version or the Chinese version, is that they do share their gacha rates. In global, that is not something that is available. They used to first show gacha rates in the beginning of the game, like 3 months in or so, but for some reason they have been removed. I can show you how in Japan they do show their gacha rates to the dot. In global, we do not have that luxury, and I think it is pretty much unfair, especially considering the whole scandal that had happened in the past with loot boxes in games, something that Apple has spoken about in 2017, like banning games with loot boxes and stuff like that do not display rates and so forth. So yeah, the fact that they do not display gacha rates, to me seems a very misleading thing. And of course, we could go into even more detail, because if we have gacha rates officially displayed, a whale that usually whales can just simply test them out and say if those gacha rates are accurate. But the fact that they do not display gacha rates officially is very misleading and unfair. It is not unknown that game devs tend to meddle with these and change them according to, let's say, server luck or rarity or stuff like that, and they could test them out, but the problem is that they do not officially admit to these rates, so they just ignore and shove it under the rug, saying that we'll just get away with it. That's not cool, in my opinion. I don't know. Now, something else that really pisses me off, and I do not really understand why it happened to global, is the pure and mere existence of the dismantle coupons and the dismantle mechanic in itself. This is just adding like a second paywall to the paywall. In a gacha event, you have to do twice the gacha to get the stuff that you want. This is not available in China, nor Japan, nor Taiwan, nor Korea. I'm not exactly sure about the CA server. I haven't been there. I've only have like first-hand experience with Taiwan and Japan and Korea. And from China, I do watch videos and ask people that play there occasionally or, every day. So yes, the dismantle mechanic is something that is pretty much exclusive to global as far as I know. And it is not fair. China doesn't have it, Japan doesn't have it. For us, it just makes the game like not only twice, I don't even know how much more expensive the game becomes because of this mechanic. And it is very, 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 very shitty, excuse my language. I'm not exactly sure if they intended to do this to China as well, but they thought, oh, we already started with this kind of like event, so we will continue with it. We will not change it to not anger anyone. But they thought, okay, if we didn't do it in China, let's do it in the global version. So I guess you could say we are the scapegoat of the company. I have no idea. I really don't know what to say about this, and I'm very displeased with it, and I wish it could just go away, but of course that will never happen. Unfortunately. We could also talk about the rewards in general that we receive from the game. For example, for maintenance rewards, we receive very poor maintenance rewards. I will show you what rewards they receive from the maintenance in the other servers, at least from the Japanese one, because that's the one I have installed, but it's the same with the Korean one. They did have like really good maintenance rewards compared to us here, and I don't think that is fair once again. Since we are on the topic of poor rewards from the game, especially in the global community, I would like to bring up the fact that we do have community events, like the type that is posted on Discord. And I do agree that it is very fun to have these and they bring the community together, but I want to point out the fact that the rewards are oftentimes very underwhelming. For example, we have one going on right now. We have a community contest. The best thing you could get from there is probably the gold pet chip. You get one gold pet chip and probably diamonds. As for the other rewards included, there is one outfit, but here's the catch. It is actually a cross-server emblem outfit, which you can already get for free in the game. And if you get it as, a prize for the contest, you cannot even wear it because you have to meet the requirements, which is being that level. So in my opinion, there is absolutely no advantage to getting that or to give that as a prize. And pointing it out because, for example, the CEA community, at least in the beginning, they had a contest which, as a prize, had the Fury Storm set. I'm not saying the Fury Storm necklace, I'm saying the Fury Storm hair and outfit as a prize. We will never have something like that, I think so, and I don't think it's fair either. I will try to get to, Facebook and try to pull that image off because, I want you to believe me and not say that I'm pulling these out of my, bum. Again, I'm saying this and I'm not blaming the community mods, like the mods on Discord, because they don't really have much power with this. They work with what they're given. And I appreciate them working for this. It's just that it's really, really disappointing from the staff and developers of the global Dragon Raja community, and I wish they would change it. Another thing that I really consider an issue is how there are so many bugs in the game, and despite them addressing them, there are instances where events do not work as intended and they do not provide compensation. We had the Luminous and Airy event a while ago that did not work, but we have not received any sort of compensation for that. There have also been people that have purchased featured keys for the last featured key event, and the featured key ended faster than advertised and they were unable to use their keys. And I have friends that still have that problem. It has not gotten resolved. I don't know what's the resolution to that problem, and you can imagine why that is a very shitty thing to do as a company to your, customers. Another problem that sits with the global community is the fact that there's a huge lack of transparency when it comes to game changes and stuff like that. For example, we had features added into the game we were not aware of, like before. I know that we do get the maintenance patches, like the patch notes, but oftentimes those are not completely accurate or they lack information. For example, when it comes to those past updates in which we received class balancing patches, those were not advertised in the maintenance patch notes. So there are other instances in which we had maintenance hours before, and just, I don't know, it seems like a very disorganized thing. We also lack a direct customer support with them, which I don't really get. I mean, in a way I do get it why it happens. It's because they save up money by not having direct customer support that's trained to deal with this, and they can deal directly with issues. Instead, we have the Dragon Raja mods from the Dragon Raja Discord. They are just mere people, and they only pass word from us to the staff and the staff to the devs. So that's a lot of jumps to make from one point to the other. Information might get lost, information is delayed, it is not effective compared to the other versions that do have a direct way of communicating with staff. We do not have that, and I don't get why. I don't think it's very fair considering the scale of this game and the scale of how much people pay for this game. This is not something that I consider something to gloss over and ignore. If you want to convince yourself, if you don't believe what I'm saying, you could as well just install the Taiwan version or the Japanese version or the Korean version and see for yourself. I will show you screenshots of the stores in Japan, and I have to say the store in global has been completely ruined by the dismantle option, because whales that whale in events will not sell outfits. Most of them will just dismantle to get the motors or the other outfits, and this just kills the global market. You have people bidding ranging from, I don't know, dozens to hundreds of bits per server. In my server, it got to about 150 bits per item, which, as you can imagine, is not very nice, especially when there's a lack, because we do not have many of those chances. Like, we have just a few outfits or hairs, and those all with high bids. China doesn't have to deal with this problem. Japan doesn't have to deal with this problem. They do not have the dismantle mechanics. So the outfits that the whales get, like the dupes, they put in the store for diamonds. So players, like free-to-play players or other whales, it doesn't matter, can just buy them. And what has shocked me is that in Japan there is like a surplus of items in the store. I will show you screenshots of that as well. You can see how there are items no one is buying, they are off cooldown and no one is buying, and there's a heap of them over there. I do not know why. I mean, you can imagine how jarring this is for a global player, because personally I spent quite a lot of money here, you know, so I do feel entitled to share my opinion, right? And I bet a lot of people would feel the same way. This kind of system only benefits those people who really have like a lot of, you know, expendable income. Of course, those people will most likely not care. But for like a mid-tier spender, this really makes or breaks the game. Because if I could personally, I would just move to Japan in a heartbeat. I've already made an account there and I'm doing my dailies there. I'm still considering moving there and forgetting about this one over here, even though I paid and it hurts. I'm just considering stopping playing here, but we will see about that. So in a nutshell, lack of gacha rates, lack of transparency, poor communication, lack of, which is like a lack of a real customer support, and the existence of the dismantle mechanic. These made the global version kind of like fall on its own, unfortunately, and to me it seems really funny when devs send us questionnaires asking us, why did you leave the game? Like, why did you leave the game? What made you come back? What would you like to see next? I mean, it's kind of like clear what we would like to see next as a community. We would like to see, you know, such, you know, fundamental problems being fixed. I wish the dismantle mechanic would just disappear completely with a notice, like, I don't know, 1 month notice and stuff like that. And yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. The global version and probably the CA version, from what I've heard from CA people, are probably the worst versions of the game. And if you are thinking about, you know, coming to the global Raja version or going to the CA version, I would probably advise you to hold your horses for a while, research, and maybe consider going to the other versions instead, because they do have a superior game experience. Compared to us, they do have the superior game experience, and it's really unfortunate. I think that should conclude my rant for today, and I hope that it really got you thinking, because I despise unfairness, and here there's a lot of it. And you can consider this as kind of like a wake-up call for you too, because if we get like loud and if we insist, I think we might be able to do something, even if it's like superficial. Either that, or they will probably just cease support for the game, which I expect to happen. I don't expect the game to be alive for more than 1 year. Unfortunately, they will just move on to Noah's Heart, and probably will follow the same system as it was with Dragon Raja. They will not learn anything. They will just use it as a new way of making heaps of money. If you are displeased, you can show that. Speak up in the Discord, speak up in Google Play. Like, you can even flag the game if you think it's fair, which could be fair, you know, flagging it for not showing the rates, the gacha rates. And you can also speak with your money, which means not spending as much as before. It's up to you though. People who have that sort of, you know, income will continue spending, but the mid-tier players that really want to get, you know, the value for their money, you guys still have some power left, and you should try to use it to your advantage. I know that this sounds like wishful thinking, it probably is, but I'm willing to try. I don't know. I hope this helped you, and I hope that if you didn't start Raja yet, it probably helped you avoid one of the worst versions of the game, because this is what it is. No sugarcoating, no exaggeration, it is the worst version of the game. That was all from me. Thank you very much for watching and listening to me ramble, and perhaps see you next time or see you around. Take care.